What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back. It's your boy Pee Wee the Plug. Another day, another upload. We still locked in all December long, so make sure you hit that like button for me. And if you're new and you enjoy this type of content, make sure you subscribe. First and foremost, I gotta send all of y'all a lot of love. Y'all know I've been dealing with this cold, but as you can hear, my voice is slowly but surely coming back, so I'm extremely excited to re-lock in and finish this month off strong with these uploads. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the most realistic landing spots for the top 10 players on the trade market, but I also want to remind y'all, flood the comments with your own personal trades because I'm going to be doing a video in a day or two reacting to trades made by y'all. So please make sure you take some time out, make them realistic, make them good. I'm going to give you a shout out for the best trades. I'm giving shout outs. I'm going to take about the top 10 or 15 ones and I'm going to go over them. And I want to see what y'all got. So please don't be filling up the comments with a lot of BS. But again, I appreciate y'all. And with all that being said, let's lock in. All right, here we go. So it says the NBA trade season officially kicked off on December 15th. Obviously, yada, yada, yada. Historically, the market needs a few weeks to ramp up, but the league could be heading into a hectic trade period. I don't like to hear that because y'all know I love trades, man. It's my trades. I need them now. The Eastern Conference isn't as strong as hoped, with several teams trying to compete with the Boston Celtics and Cleveland Cavaliers at the top. The Western Conference is competitive, but open enough for teams to push for more. Some names were omitted for the lack of apparent destinations, such as Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls or Jeremy Grant of the Portland Trail Blazers, whose contracts may be too challenging to move. I will say, I am glad they put that out there, because if I would have went through this list and didn't see either or, I would have been kind of like scratching my head. But they are right in the sense of those contracts are so large that when I, my personal self, have tried to figure out destinations for either of those guys, it has been a little difficult. I will say, though, even though it won't be a part of this article and in this video, the Nuggets coming out of nowhere with all of this interest in Zach LaVine, I may need to make that its own separate video because, man, that is exactly the type of stuff that I'm trying to hear about. I want those type of moves where it's like the Nuggets are like, hey, man, we trying to make something shake. I never thought that they would be, not let me say I never thought, but just the idea of that and knowing that a guy like Michael Porter Jr. would have to be a part of that kind of, excites me and intrigues me to let me know the type of mindset that some of these teams have going into the playoffs. But again, let's dive into these players that we have in front of us. So the number one is Jonathan Kaminga. First thing I'll say before I even read anything they have to say, Jonathan Kaminga is one of the most interesting guys for me around this time, just because, number one, it says right there, the contract is $7.6 million. Understanding what a Golden State Warriors are and what they are trying to accomplish with Steph Curry while he's still playing peak level basketball at the age that he's at, I don't know what you can get for the $7.6 million. And that itself makes it extremely hard to kind of tie out because theoretically, if you're the Warriors, you want that star level player in return for Kaminga. But when you think about how much Jimmy Butler is making, even if you want to consider, let's just say we consider Zach LaVine a star. You look at the money he's making. You know what I mean? What if somebody did come out and say, hey, trade me and I want to go to Golden State? Majority of the star players are going to make $40 to $50 million. And when you have somebody with as much upside as Jonathan Kaminga, it's hard when he's on that contract because he didn't get the extension. And thankfully he didn't for them because, number one, he's not looking like a $30 million guy. And number two, you wouldn't be able to trade him anyway. He'd be like on the time period of whenever he signed the extension. So he is interested in that standpoint. And then on top of that, what is his value? You know what I mean? And I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. I think it's really subjective to who's answering and what they're looking for on each team. But it's like there is no real understanding of his value. And the only teams that probably have the most value in him are teams that are retooling and rebuilding. And what do they have that the Warriors would want? You get what I'm saying? Like even the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat probably would want Kaminga in a sense of they want something to show for Jimmy. But theoretically, do the Heat, I don't know. We'll see what they say. The Golden State Warriors were hot out of the trade season gate, replacing injured guard DeAnthony Melton with Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets. The franchise is either evaluating Kaminga with an eye on a long-term contract or showcasing him for a trade. A lot of us think the latter. A lot of us think that they're trying to build up the trade stock because, again, he's not playing like a $30 million man, in my opinion. Through his 5 starts in December, the 22-year-old forward has averaged 21 points per game. The Warriors have explored chasing a more established star like Lauri Markkanen, who extended with the Jazz, and Kaminga would be a key piece. However, the team may also need to part ways with Andrew Wiggins if it targets a high dollar play, since the Warriors are very close to their first apron hard cap of $178.1 million. Any trade must reduce salary enough to enable the franchise to field 14 players under standard contracts. So again, they're adding in basically what I was saying. In order to go get those guys, you're going to have to sacrifice Wiggins too. When considering potential Kaminga destinations, try not to focus too hard on who the Warriors may target directly, as a multi-team trade may be the answer in most scenarios. That make way more sense for me. You know, a multi-trade being the case in most scenarios makes the most sense in the world. And they also make sense of some of these teams, I guess, because I would look at this and say, what the hell do the Charlotte Hornets have that the Warriors would realistically want? Same thing with the Chicago Bulls. I mean, unless they are like dead set on getting Zach LaVine, what is there? What the hell does Detroit have? But I do think Detroit would be a nice place for Jonathan Kaminga. That would be a really good place for them. Miami, because of Jimmy Butler. Portland, I know they have Robert Williams, DeAndre Ayton, Anthony Simons. Are those the guys that the Warriors are targeting, though? Don't know, don't think so. And then the Utah Jazz, I think that's done because Lauri Markkanen is off the table at this point. So for me, I see him being Jonathan Kaminga involved in like a Jimmy Butler trade. They went out, they got Dennis Schroeder. That told me everything. They're going to be aggressive. They also let us know that they aren't done and that they are trying to get that guy. And the only guy that's really on the market of that level is Jimmy Butler. Because if you wanted Cam Johnson, you and Brooklyn would have found some type of way to involve Cam Johnson in the Dennis Schroeder trade. I don't see a team making 2 trades with the same team weeks apart. I personally don't see it. There's a first for everything. It's not impossible, but I just don't see why you would make 2 separate trades when normally things like that happen. You just make the one big trade. So we will see, but I do think every team on here makes sense for him to be on from a player development and position of each franchise. Jonathan Kaminga on the Bulls makes all of the sense in the world, but the Bulls would also have 2 key decisions to make. That would be extremely interesting because I'll tell you right now, the Bulls ain't paying $25+ million to Josh Giddey and Jonathan Kaminga. I almost combined their names right there, but I can guarantee you that. Hornets, they about need somebody like Jonathan Kaminga, where you're not necessarily going into the draft trying to depend on a teenage player again, but you do have somebody that you can look at to develop and whatnot. And I think the Miami Heat are going to be real interesting depending on what's the next pivot for them. So Jonathan Kaminga, I'm watching this as much as I'm watching anything because I want to know what the Warriors think of him from a value perspective. It's going to be extremely interesting to see what they get back. Will it be a Jimmy Butler? Will it be a Cam Johnson? Will it be somebody that's like rotation? I don't know. But I've been very curious to know the value of Kaminga from the Warriors and opposing teams who may be acquiring him. The next guy is DeAndre Ayton. Ayton, $34 million contract, $69 million through 2025-2026. Ayton, who is just 26, averages a double-double, 14 and 10, has playoff experience that could help several teams with a size deficit. Portland can afford to be patient, but it must decide whether to move him at the deadline or in the offseason. Offer quality may be the decider, but expect the team to explore the market diligently. The Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, Indiana Pacers, and Toronto Raptors, all our teams here. I'll be honest with you. I don't really like any of these landing spots. I mean, I guess the Hawks because you're on the last year with Clint Capella, but are you that afraid of Onyeka Okongwu being the starting center? Is he that much not a starter center where the thought of losing Capella means you need to go into the trade market and find a guy who's going to be there over the next couple of like it's that bad? Hornets, you got Mark Williams, you got Nick Richards. I think those guys are good enough, right? Especially if your team is going to be as banged up as it's been with LaMelo and Mark Williams during just this year. Trey Mann, you're probably kind of out of that playoff picture for now. So is it worth to spend $34 million on bringing in Ayton? Like, nah, I would just say, hey, we're just going to play hard and compete this year with the first year under Charles Lee. And we're going to hope that we're extremely healthy next year, because when we were healthy with LaMelo, him and Brandon Miller look extremely well. Trey Mann is a diamond in the rough that we got. And we know we're going to be a better team with Mark Williams, because as he's came back this season and ramped up his minutes, the more minutes he plays, the better we see of Mark Williams. So I'm kind of okay with keeping Mark Williams and re-signing him to a deal that's a lot more cheaper than $34 million, in my opinion. That's what I would do. I just feel like this would be a panic move, because if that's the case, why aren't the Pelicans trading for him? The Pelicans aren't going to trade for DeAndre Ayton because their season is canned, right? Their season is canned, and they probably feel like it just wouldn't be worth it at this point to bring in a $34 million center when we have the record that we have. I'm quickly, just to be sure and to be very precise, the Hornets are 7-19, 13th out east by a half a game above the Raptors, and they're 1-9 in their last 10. That to me does not sound like a team that should be buying. It sounds like a team that should be selling. So like I said a month or so ago, Cody Martin, he should be on the block. Because I think he would be a highly sought-after player with the low contract that he has and how much of a basketball player he is. He can adapt in a lot of different situations for a lot of contending teams, being a secondary or third ball handler, being able to be a switchable defender who's going to compete on that side of the floor on the perimeter, being able to hit corner shots, cut, move without the basketball, make plays with the basketball in a smaller role. I think that's what they need to do. You know what I mean? Does Miles Bridges have a market? You get what I'm saying? Like, they should open up the floodgates for that. Grant Williams, all of these different vets that they have, I just don't see them buying. And the Pacers, I mean, are you that scared of losing Miles Turner? Are you that scared? And then the Raptors I like, but the Raptors might as well wait for the draft. So I think what they were saying, or what they're going to say about a lot of different guys, I think it applies with Ayton. Like, I would be extremely surprised if Ayton is moved this season. He seems like more of an off-season guy once the smoke settles and a Raptors team figures out, oh, we're not getting the center in the draft. We got too high of a pick. We got a top 3 pick, so we're leaving here with Flagg, Harper, or Bailey. You know what I mean? Or at this point, Jeremiah Fears. And then you make a pivot and say, oh, yeah, give us Ayton on the last year of his deal. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. But I don't think teams of these calibers should trade for him right now as if he's about to come change any of their season. That's just my opinion. So I think if I was a betting man, DeAndre Ayton, you're safe. You're safe in Portland for the rest of this year. Offseason come, we're trading you because of this name right here, Donovan Clingan. That's just my 2 cents. Walker Kessler, the next guy, $3 million contract, just like Jonathan Kaminga, makes it extremely tough. Kessler is a less expensive option at center. He's not nearly as established as a player as DeAndre Ayton, but he's $31 million cheaper this season. The Utah Jazz need to decide if they want to extend Kessler this summer or wait until restricted free agency in 2026. But many around the league believe they will cash him out ahead of the deadline. Utah would want at least a first-round pick in return, less than what they had demanded from New York in discussions before the Knicks acquired Karl-Anthony Towns. Kessler's smaller salary makes him more likely to be moved than most on this list. The Jazz are also flexible with other veterans on the roster like Clarkson, Collins, and Sexton. Landing spots: Hawks, Hornets, Bulls, Indiana, Lakers, Pelicans, Knicks. All these teams should be buying. As a Knicks fan, I don't know why the hell he's not on the team already. Especially, I don't know off the top of my mind. I know Sexton makes 19. He makes 3. That's about $22 million. I love Mitchell Robinson, but if it was some world where we could take Mitch in a first-round pick and we can get Sexton and Kessler, sign me up for it, damn it. Sign me up immediately. Because we need some bench scoring who were guys who are willing to compete, and we also need a big who can block some shots and don't have to play a shit ton of minutes. But if I'm the Knicks, hell, if I'm the Bulls, if I'm the Pacers, because even if you bring back Miles Turner, you can still keep Walker Kessler. It ain't like the Ayton situation where you're not bringing in DeAndre Ayton for $34 million and him and Miles Turner are backing each other up or splitting time. Hell no. for $3 million, and then for 7.8 through the next year, and then you just go into restricted free agency and say, hey, show us what you're worth. We're gonna match it if it's not crazy. Sign me up for it. Why is he still on the Jazz? GMs need to wake up. Robert Williams, $12 million salary or 14. And I don't know what that's about. 12.4 to $14 million salary. 28.9 potentially owed through 2026, 2027. So you got a little bit of control on his contract. Williams is the third center in a row, much cheaper than Aiden, but more expensive and riskier than Kessler. At his best, Williams is a polished, experienced, disruptive defender. I love when Time Lord is healthy, personally. He improves any playoff contender in need. The downside is that he's rarely healthy, the biggest downside, though he is currently playing productive basketball off the bench for the Portland Trailblazers. This would be like I don't want to say number one, but the Lakers are the first team that comes to mind when you think of Robert Williams. Just want him to be healthy during playoff time. He can split minutes with AD, back him up as well. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Hawks. Hell, I think every team on here he makes sense for, especially teams that already have a starting center. Because unlike the Pelicans, well, you have Eves Missy, but you don't want to, because of the injury history, you don't want to rely on Robert Williams being your everyday starting center. But I think if he's your backup and you still have a starting caliber center in front of him, if he does, because you have to prepare for it, gets hurt, you're not assed out. You get what I'm saying? So some of these teams I think make a lot of sense. I would really love him and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to highlight Charlotte. I would really love to see him in Atlanta. Depending on what they do with Clint Capella, Robert Williams would be real nice in Atlanta with a point guard like Trae Young. Cam Johnson, a guy who I'm surprised to see this low. I don't know what order they're doing it in, but I thought Cam Johnson could arguably be the first guy on this list talking about trades and whatnot. His salary is $22.5 to $27 million. I guess it's going to gradually go up. That's what that must mean. And his contract status is $65.5 to $78.7 million to 2026, 2027. He must have a player option or something. That could also be the other thing. Johnson has raised his value this season, averaging career highs in scoring and three-point efficiency. When they dealt Mikal Bridges to the Knicks this summer, the Brooklyn Nets signaled their shift away from competing. Still, the team was winning at too high a clip, leading to the Dennis Schroeder deal with the Golden State Warriors to further diminish the team's viability. Many around the league expect Johnson to be next, though his salary may be a little trickier to move with his $4.5 million in unlikely incentives that count against the aprons. Teams facing financial pressure may be challenging, but keep an eye on the Memphis Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings, especially if either can find a taker for Marcus Smart or Kevin Huerter. Look for Brooklyn to shop Dorian Finney-Smith and others before the deadline. Golden State, Lakers, and Grizzlies, Kings. Out of all of these teams, y'all, I think the Memphis Grizzlies make that the most sense. I have been eyeing somebody for the Grizzlies to get at the wing position. Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, what's my guy name? I'm blanking out. Even Mikal Bridges before he got traded. And then who am I thinking about? Jeremy Grant. I'm tripping. But I want to see this move happen. As much as I love Jalen Wills and what he's been doing, I want to see them be able to put Desmond Bane at the 2 and have real size at the 3. Jalen Wills is 6'6" and, a little thin-framed himself. Get them guys a 6'9" Cam Johnson, a 6'8", 6'9" Jeremy Grant or something like that. I've been wanting to see that for a while, and I think they're going to have crazy size on the front court if he is their small forward. And plus, he can shoot, play without the basketball. I think he fits perfectly. They would be my number one. I don't really want to see Cam Johnson with the Lakers, if I'm being honest. Guys going to play with LeBron, and they just start missing shots. That's just what it is. I don't make the rules. And then the Kings, you already have him. His name is Keegan Murray. You got to get Keegan Murray on track. Don't go trade for Cam Johnson. Get Keegan Murray on track. How does that even work? You're going to have Fox, Monk, Murray, DeRozan, Johnson, almost called him Sengun, Sabonis. I don't like that. So, yeah, Cam Johnson, please get your ass to Memphis. Force your way there. Another center, Clint Capella. His contract is $22 million to $24 million. He is an unrestricted free agent in July 2025 on the last year of that deal. The Atlanta Hawks don't have their first round pick this draft and are pushing to compete in the playoffs. Capella is 30, is expandable if the Hawks can find a way to improve at center. His expiring contract may land him on a team that needs a defensive center who can help a team without needing to score. As trade Balsat in a multi-team deal, potentially leading to a buyout with a team like the Wizards. I think if I'm Clint Capella and I'm his agency, that's what we're hoping for. We would love to be traded in a thrown-in deal because we are in the last year of our contract, and then we would love to be waived because then we can pick our own destination. Like if Capella got waived, they can't pick him up because they can't get buyout market guys. But I was gonna say the damn Celtics. Clint Capella off the bench. If Clint Capella with the Clippers wouldn't be bad. I had the Clippers series and we went out and traded for Capella. You reunite him with James Harden and him and Zubac as the center duo. I like that a lot. The Hawks may look to replace others, including Bogdan Bogdanovic, Larry Nance Jr., Aneka Okongwu, or DeAndre Hunter, in search of fits alongside Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, and rookie Zachary Richard Sher. That's my mentality. That's what I would be doing. I would be looking at those four guys and figuring out who complements them in the long run, in the long haul, while also complimenting them now because we are not tanking. We want to continue to win games and be somewhat competitive and get the most out of this year instead of just handing somebody a free lottery pick. Landing spot, Chicago Bulls. Indiana Pacers would be nice. I like that as well. Los Angeles Lakers would be nice. The Pelicans, I don't like it just because your season is pretty much canned. Bringing him in on the last year of his deal makes absolutely no damn sense. The Blazers makes no damn sense. You already got Robert Williams. You already got Aiden. You already got Klingon. And now y'all got him going to the Blazers, Clint Capella. I absolutely not. The Raptors, bringing him in may help you win a couple extra games. So the Raptors, stay away from him. I like what y'all doing. Y'all playing well, but y'all losing the games. That's the recipe. And then Washington, absorb his $22 million on the last year of the deal so it can go off your books, but then buy him out and let him go to a Knicks. A Knicks situation where we could just pick him up for $1 million minimum contract. Help your value, Clint Capella. Brandon Ingram, kind of like some of the other guys we talked about. Where is he going? I'm interested in knowing. Memphis. I did it in my league on the Bulls, the Bully Ball series. I know a lot of y'all watching. Memphis, pick up the phone. $36 million, unrestricted free agent in July 2025. Trade bonus 15%, near $2.1 million as of trade deadline. The Pelicans are hurt. I don't want to read this full thing. For Ingram, he faces an offseason with few suitors. The primary teams with spending power include the Nets and Wizards. Throw up. He needs a trade to a team that values his rights and will pay him handsomely. Would LeBron James take less next year for the Los Angeles Lakers to ensure Ingram, a new Clutch Sports client, receives a payday? Can the Hawks take a swing to trade to partner Ingram with Young and Jalen Johnson? Will Utah add a talent like Ingram with next year in mind? That's the three spots. Lakers, Hawks, Jazz. Dog. Marcus Smart already makes $20 million. Y'all can't get another 10. Luke Kennard, $12 million contract. That's $32 million right there. And then you bring him in. Why the fuck would Ingram go to the Jazz? He not going to Utah? The fuck? I do like the Lakers though. And yes, LeBron James would take a pay cut because he is Clutch Sports and because he would help the Lakers. He will give the Lakers finally something that's a little different. I feel like the Lakers have been going for this mold of player and they've been a little disappointed. You need to go out and get shooters. I agree and I believe that. But the Lakers also need somebody who is confident and willing and able to go out and create their own shot at all three levels. They need a little bit of that because we're asking and tasking LeBron James at the age to be that guy, and it's too much of a load. Let LeBron facilitate. Let him turn up when he sees the need to, but throughout the rest of the course of the season, you go get fresh young legs like Ingram. I know he does with his injuries. I know. And you let him be the guy that y'all play through. And Ingram is good enough, as we saw with the Pelicans this year, to hold it down by himself. On certain nights where LeBron really want to coast or not even play, Ingram can still win you a game. He was keeping the Pelicans extremely competitive when everybody was dropping like flies. So I think He's really probably going to go to the Lakers. I felt that way since he signed with Clutch. Y'all know the business. It's just the way it is. Though I would love to see him in Memphis. I like him on the Hawks, but in reality, I just don't think that they need to do it. I don't think they need to do it at all, if I'm being honest. Unless they're that desperate of making the playoff push, then sure. But then I would say be prepared of him maybe leaving in free agency. And at that point, it's probably just not worth it. DAngelo Russell. Very tricky. I have no idea where in the hell DAngelo Russell is, can, or will go. $18 to $19 million contract, unrestricted in July 2025. The Lakers are about $30,000 below the second apron. Any trade will need to reduce salary enough to allow the franchise to get 14 regular contracts. The team has been listed as a possible destination for many on this list, and Russell is the primary expiring contract needed to get a deal done. The Lakers have a couple of future first-round picks. Oh, man, I feel bad for Laker fans because those picks, that's it. Once they trade those picks, it better be for somebody that can catapult them into that next level or next echelon in the Western Conference. Because if not, you're going to be given the future of your team in 2029, 2031, when Anthony Davis is going to be close to 40 and LeBron is going to be years removed from retirement and y'all ain't going to have shit. Those draft picks are going to be gone, and they're going to be extremely valuable potentially. I just don't think the Lakers have that same juice that they once did when everybody was running to free agency to go to LA. I don't think it still exists. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but I just don't think it's like when I was growing up. I don't. And a lot of guys aren't growing up as like Laker fans. Like we're in a new era. A lot of guys are growing up as like LeBron and Durant and Paul George fans. It's like the Kobe era of super fans. They're in the league already. They're already in the NBA. A lot of guys was growing up watching Kobe coming into the league, and then they wanted to be a Laker because of Kobe. That era is already in the league now. Now it's the youth, right? Now the Kobe guys are my age. It's the Julius Randles and stuff like that. Like, so I don't know. The veteran guard skills are diminishing this year for the Lakers as LeBron and Reeves have taken on the primary ball handling responsibilities. Perhaps the team wants Russell for what he does on the court, but his short contract may prove more valuable in a trade. Landing spots, back to the Nets, not mad at it. Detroit Pistons, I did it in my Bully Ball series, not mad at it. The Pelicans, you got DeJounte and CJ McCollum and Herb Jones and Jordan Hawkins. And I know everybody's hurt, but again, I guess for the last year of the deal, $19 million off the table, sure. Portland Trail Blazers, sure. Washington Wizards, sure. Utah Jazz, sure. All of this tells me is his destination is really about who can give the Lakers the best package. You know what I mean? Who has the best player for the Lakers to get back, and they're going to just throw his $19 million into the mix of that. That's what that tells me. Jimmy Butler, $48.8 million, $101 million through 2025, which means that player option is like $55, $57 million. Some shit that I need, type of contract I need. I promise y'all, I get a $55 million contract. The YouTube channel is going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot different content. We're going to be somewhere on the beach vlogging. This is what this drink tastes like. Jimmy Butler's saga has progressed as suspected. The Miami Heat, having extended him, probably won't reinvest at his age 35 and would presumably like him off of their books before the 2025 season. The challenge is trading such a high salary player at the deadline, especially to a contender. Even if the money can work, a 5, 6, or 7 player deal can be tricky with each team's 15-man roster space limitation. Even after the Warriors traded DeAnthony Melton for Dennis Schroeder, the Golden State Warriors remain a candidate. The Houston Rockets have tremendous flexibility to replace Giannis Antetokounmpo with Butler and is theoretical, but are likelier to pass on Butler because of his age. A long shot deal with the Denver Nuggets could be completed, but isn't impossible, centered around Michael Porter Jr. and Zeke Naji and filler. The Memphis Grizzlies, I talked about this in my Bully Ball series. I was trying to get him to the Grizzlies as well. Could make an offer built around Marcus Smart and others. So if they can make a deal for Jimmy, $48 million, why the hell are they not on the list for Ingram? Butler may need to wait until the offseason, but he may be willing to opt out to sign a sizable 3-year contract that starts at a number below his option to get a deal done. Out of all of these teams, I like the Grizzlies. I think he fits well over there. Dog. We're just going to dog you. And they young, they hungry, they ready to be led by example. Dogs. Rockets. Dogs. And the Rockets, you probably ain't even got to give up nothing crazy. You give Cam Whitmore, Jeff Green, and some other shit, man. We ain't got to give up nothing crazy. I like Jimmy on the Rockets. I really do. I don't like Jimmy on the Nuggets, and I don't like Jimmy on the Warriors. Just my personal opinion. Really good player. I like him with other dogs. Draymond is a dog. Russ is a dog. Aaron Gordon a dog. But Christian Brown a dog. But I just like him with the Rockets or the Grizzlies. I think he's better with a little bit of younger talent around him. Malik Beasley or just cap space. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I damn near don't even want to read this. Pistons, y'all be foolish to trade Malik Beasley. He been one of y'all bright spots this year. He's shooting up the ladder off the ball. He can't miss a three right now. Landing spot almost 29. Yeah, every team will want him. He's shooting crazy. I mean, the Detroit Pistons need to decide if they intend to make a playoff or fall short. Hey man, go for it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Go for it. Honorable mention, Nikola Vucevic. The list of players will grow together this coming week for the G League Showcase event. Perhaps suitors emerge for players such as Zach LaVine, Jeremy Grant, despite their contracts. Players to keep a close eye on: Kyle Kuzma, Nikola Vucevic, Jonas Valanciunas, Malcolm Brogdon should have a big market. He's been hurt. He's been gone. I know he ain't at the top of people's foreheads. Malcolm Brogdon can help you win basketball games. Lonzo Ball will help you win basketball games. DeAndre Hunter has been on a tear. Jakob Poeltl, I think, is an underrated big. Day'Ron Sharpe is a young big that somebody should take a chance on. Bruce Brown, you got to play. You got to play. PJ Tucker, I don't know. Bones Highland, I don't know. KJ Martin, full of young energy, but damn how many times he going to get traded. But once you get traded 6-7 times, I don't know. I like KJ Martin, though. He got the size. He got the athleticism. He got the versatility. It's all about him knocking down that corner shot. But Dual Reef, that's my dog. And then Marcus Smart, Josh Okogie. Yeah, it's a lot of guys up here. It's a lot of guys. Some sources anticipate that the Clippers, Pelicans, and Cavs will make moves before the deadline to reduce their salaries. So not anything to help them be a better team, but just to reduce the payroll. The broader debate will be how restrictive the 2023 collective bargaining agreement will be on player movement. For lower spenders, trades are easier to execute, but it's significantly more challenging for the league's higher budget franchises. That's how I'm going to wrap this video up. That's my biggest thing with the aprons and the second aprons and all of this shit. This is my time as an NBA fan. Since I've been a kid to a teenager to adulthood, being in the media, being outside of the media, I love transactional trade deadlines. And all of this complications with money, you can't get him as a buyout if you're over the sec. It does too much and it kills the vibe. I appreciate y'all. Drop them trades in the comments. We got 31 minutes into this because I'm happy my voice is somewhat back. I'm excited. The energy is up. But as always, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I will see y'all when I review y'all trades. Do not send me no bullshit. I'm out. Peace.